Hey sewing friends, remember me? I guess it's been a while since I've posted a video, and I'll talk more about that at the end. But first I thought I would share with you some of the makes that I've recently made. Now the latest, or one of the, the make that took up a lot of time this month was my frocktails dress. And I really won't go into frocktails because I know a lot of other people have posted videos. So if you want to, see what the evening was like, you can go ahead and watch those. It was really great meeting some people that I have talked to. Kim, over the last year and a half, we meet every Saturday morning on Zoom. And then of course there was Izzy and Cynthia and Christine. Oh, there's my phone. It was really nice to meet them in person as well. So I did have a great time. Unfortunately, I ended up getting sick. So Saturday night after Frocktails was over, went back to the hotel. And I literally curled up in bed and I was freezing. I was just literally like balled up and I was freezing. And I got an extra blanket from the, the closet in the hotel room and put that on me. And Sunday, I just was not feeling well. I met the gang for lunch, for brunch. And before we even got seated, I said, you guys, I'm just not feeling well. I need to go back to the hotel room. So I went back to the hotel room and basically slept all day Sunday. I think all I did was go down to the front desk and I think I bought like 6 Gatorades and I was just drinking Gatorade all day to stay hydrated. And then the next day, Monday, I slept in as long as I could, up until the minute I had to check out. And then I just threw my stuff in a suitcase and then went home. And even after I got home, I still just stayed in bed for a couple days. It's just really not until I think Sunday that I knew I felt almost 100%. There's still a little congestion here, but I feel good. But anyhow, it was a lot of fun, and I thought I'd show you the frocktails dress that I wore. This is the outfit or the dress that I made. It is the Vogue 9053 pattern, and it is made out of, to me, I think, this beautiful, gorgeous silk charmeuse. Now, I had never worked with silk charmeuse before. It was a little bit challenging, and mistakes were made. Definitely mistakes were made, but it didn't matter because I had such a great time. Now I do want to go back when I have time and unpick and correct some of the issues that I have with the fit and with the dress. But overall, I love this fabric. It's so soft. I don't know how it comes off on camera, and I know you can't feel how silky soft it is. But really love making this and wearing this. And then the inside, I just did a Bemberg lining. Then for a little, topper, I had in my stash this raw silk, which I thought was a pretty good match for the fabric, the dress fabric. And it's just a little bolero jacket. And the pattern is one that I'd actually made before from my Tailor Academy course. So I went ahead and made that again, but I just shortened the sleeves. And then in the back, I added these 2 darts. I don't know if you can see, but there are 2 darts that I added. I think one here and one over here. And then in the front, I just added these little tucks here. Mainly because the bolero jacket, it is meant to be kind of loose. And it fit me really great in the chest and shoulders, but I felt like it was kind of big, kind of just open. So by putting in the darts and the little tucks, it just made it hug the body more. And so I just preferred that to the original pattern. So that is what I wore for Frocktails. Then when I came home, because I had spent a lot of time making that, it was kind of a slow sew. And again, working with charmeuse was really different and difficult. And after being sick and tired, when I came home, I just wanted to make something that was really familiar, fun, not really challenging. So, of course, my old standby is the Concord t-shirt, Cashmere at Concord tee. And I have it here someplace. Here it is. I made a size 16 with a CD cup. And this is an art gallery fabric it's a cotton jersey that I've had in my stash for probably over a year. And I have to say, I just love it. It is really nice and soft. Now, when I had originally bought the fabric, I was looking for a stripe and I thought, okay, this is pretty stripy. I like this stripe. But it wasn't until I actually rolled out the fabric and cut it out that I realized that the stripes kind of repeated itself. So let me go ahead I'll hold it up and show you. So you can see how, you know, you have this set and then it repeats itself and it repeats itself. And I don't know how I feel about that. I think it makes really no difference, but you know, I was kind of hoping for something more symmetrical. So again, I'll have to wear this with something. I haven't really worn it yet. I just made it. It was very fun, satisfying make. I thought I did a great job on the V-neck. Yeah, so that was actually just fun to sort of get back into the sewing vibe, the sewing mood. Then what I'm working on now, and I thought I'd be finished, but I need to do some adjustments, is I made the Style Arc Tallulah dress. Let me get the pattern there. Okay, I made the Style Arc Tallulah dress, and here is kind of the line drawings. And I don't know if you can see, but it's just basically kind of like a t-shirt dress with some gathers here on the sides. And I thought that was really interesting. And I like the fact that it's kind of a drop waist, or the gathers here are kind of like a drop, not necessarily a drop waist, but it's kind of lower. And I knew right off the bat that being a Style Arc pattern, I would have to make a full bust adjustment because I'm usually a CD cup in cashmerette patterns, and most patterns are drafted for a B cup. So I was thinking, okay, I could do a full bust adjustment, but then I thought, you know, I just recently made the Pembroke dress by Cashmerette, and it's very similar. It's like a t-shirt dress. So I thought, you know what, let's lay the two patterns together and see how close they are, because also I was really concerned if it would be wide enough, the pattern would be wide enough. Now the Style Arc pattern uses a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and you may think that 1/8 of an inch, you know, 1/4 inch versus 3/8 doesn't make that much difference, but in looking at the pattern, it just looks so narrow, and I thought, oh, that's not going to fit around my hips. So again, I laid together the Cashmerette Pembroke and the Style Arc Tallulah, and let me show you some of the adjustments I made. The first part was to address the bust, and pretty much when I laid this down, other than here at the arm side, I just added this little bit here, and that is the exact same pattern piece as the Pembroke dress. Then the Pembroke, as well as the Cashmerette Concord t-shirt, it does go in at the waist, and I actually cut into the Tallulah pattern, and then of course it comes out a lot here at the hip. Now I did add 1.5 inches in the length, and then I did add an extra, I think this is a 1/2 inch, maybe slightly more than a 1/2 inch at the hips, because the difference, I measured the two patterns and I definitely needed more. So I just basically traced the side, you know, I lined up the part that goes on the fold, and then I just traced off the Pembroke pattern, thinking that it would fit really well, and it pretty much does. I'll explain real quick, and I'll show you some pictures. Now, a couple of, I don't know, weeks ago or something, during our Sunday or our Saturday sewing circles, someone had mentioned, you know, on Cashmerette, if they find, like, because she does go in, she drafts her patterns to go in at the waist and then out at the hips, and somebody had mentioned, you know, do you find that it sometimes poofs out a little bit too much at the hips? On the Concord tee, that's not an issue, but I have had that issue with other dresses, and the Pembroke has been one of them. Now, I always thought that was because I had started on a size 16 and then I drafted to an 18 at the hip, the waist and hip, and then I realized I just need to go, I kept it a size 16 all the way down. But I also did have, without realizing it, it wasn't just the size 18 that I was grading out to. This does stick out quite a bit, and I will show you on the dress that I made. Now, another thing I noticed about this pattern, here is the neckline for the Pembroke. Let me see. Okay. So here is the neckline for the Pembroke. Here it is for the Tallulah. Now, interestingly enough, I always thought that the Pembroke was very high, as opposed to, like, for instance, this is a cashmerette, not the Appleton, it's the Turner dress. And then, of course, you know, the V-neck on the Concord, or even the scoop on the Concord. And so I thought that the Pembroke was kind of a high neck, although I guess it really hits me right about here. So when I looked at the neck on this, I thought, oh my goodness, is this gonna like be a turtleneck? Is it gonna choke? I mean, this really surprised me, but I thought, let's just see. Let's just see how it turns out. Because again, I was just looking at this, the line drawing. It didn't look that high up on, you know, the picture. So I went ahead and made it. Now, the gathers were actually kind of interesting because this is actually kind of like a dart. I don't know if you can see that. This is a dart here that you sort of cut into, and then you do your basting stitch and you gather it so that this part that sticks out here, see, I don't know if you can see the dart there. You cut into the dart almost to the tip, and then you can gather it so that this side here is then now even with the side. Now, because I wasn't sure of the fit as far as the hips fitting and the full bust adjustment, I went ahead and used some, kind of made a wearable toile, or actually I really made a toile out of some cotton jersey that I had. And I've made like 2 or 3 dresses out of this fabric. It's actually, I bought 10 meters. It's Lady McElroy, and you know, you get a discount if you buy it. And so anyhow, the fabric is too busy for this dress. It really is too busy. So, you know, if you start having convulsions or something, but let me show you the dress. And it actually was, and you know what? I'm gonna love this. When I get all the adjustments made, I'm gonna love this dress. So yeah, it's really kind of busy, so I don't think this pattern works well with this dress. When I show you the pictures, you can see that the hips just sort of, that curve on this pattern piece just is too much. It just poofs out, so I need to sort of grade that down, either do less of a waist. I don't know, I think the waist is fine, but I just need to sort of grade that down some. And then because I added a little extra weight here, I think I want to extend this part a little bit more so that I have just a tad bit more gathering. I think by bringing this out, it took away from the full gathering effect that I would want. So I'll put up some video of me wearing it. And again, this was just to see how everything was going to fit, because let me show you the fabric I want to make it out of. Hold on just a moment. And now I'm rethinking this fabric because it's a very busy print too. This is a rib knit that I got from knitfabrics.com, and I don't know if you can, yeah, it has a good drape to it, and I don't know if you can see the ribs in it. Hang on. Okay, and so now that I think about it, this is very busy too, so I'm wondering how this is going to look. But in my mind, I like it. I like it. I just want to go ahead and fix sort of that poofiness that's sticking out, you know, at the hips, because this type of fabric, I guess it's a little, has some body to it, so it doesn't drape. It just little goes in and poofs out, as you can see in the picture that I put up somewhere here. I don't feel that this will be as big an issue because this feels like it has a little bit more drape, but I still need to you know, sort of straighten that out, because now that I think about it, on both Pembrokes that I made, the same thing happened. It just poofed out too much at the hips, and I had to go in and sort of grade that and smooth that out. So all in all, I think I'm really going to like this pattern. I think this has a lot of potential. I think it's a little bit different. I love kind of the drop. It's not necessarily a drop waist, but I think it just has, I don't know, something to it, just something that's a little bit different, a little bit that catches the eye. So I think once I get all the little fit issues worked out, I'm going to really like that pattern. So, you know, I still have some cotton jersey that is just test stuff. So maybe I'll make another toile out of it, but I think I feel pretty confident I can just make the adjustments to the pattern. And then if they still kind of don't work, I can just adjust it after I've made it. Now, I need your input for this next part. As you know, if you follow my channel, I haven't posted anything lately. And I really thought, for the most part, I thought, you know what? I just don't want to do YouTube anymore. I don't want to. I just didn't feel like I had anything to offer. And so I was just kind of done with it. And then I started sewing. Excuse me, still have a cold. The remnants. So then I started sewing when I got home, and I realized, gosh, I really do love to sew. And it's something I want to share with people, and I want to interact, because one of the things I love about our sewing circle is that we get to talk sewing with one another. And if anyone is interested in joining our Saturday sewing circles, go ahead, send an email to pollysews22@gmail.com. I'll send you a Zoom link, and you're welcome to join in with us anytime you feel like it. We meet Saturdays at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, it's really early here in the West Coast. It's a little bit easier in the Central and East Coast. But anyhow, I need your input, because I said, okay, I'm kind of done with YouTube. I just don't feel like I have anything to offer, that I have anything to contribute. Then I started sewing and realized how much I really do love to sew. And there's so many things I want to do. I mean, it's like I've been threatening to do pattern drafting again, which really super interests me. And then as I'm sewing, I went ahead and put on some YouTube, to just listen to in the background. And then it was the same old, the same people saying the same thing that everybody else is saying, doing the same thing. And I thought, Carol, you don't need to be another voice in the cacophony of sewing YouTubers out there. Unless you can offer something of value, at least, unless you can offer something that people find interesting or some value. So let me know in the comments, what do you like about a sewing YouTube channel? What would you like to see? Is there anything I could be doing that no one else is doing, but you would like to see someone do? I think as I continue, I'm just going to start doing me and just really the things that interest me, which I've kind of been doing, but then I've kind of been also trying to follow the trends. So it'll be interesting. I would be interested to see what your comments are, and then I will be interested to see how I change and grow going forward, because literally making my Frocktails dress and making this, all the ideas that I have are just so inspiring. I think that I'm just going to go ahead and do what I'm going to do, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it and will come along for the ride. So I'm kind of rambling at this point.